Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is Dr. Kiran Hashmi once again from the platform of the Skillers Education. I am now executing the request-based sessions which my audience, my followers, my colleagues requested few weeks back. So I did one to almost 2 3 weeks back, and today I'm going something which is very important topic, which is related to almost all of us. Somewhere or the other, we all are connected to it, and that is what I thought is important that we will share. So my today's topic of discussion and sharing with you all is motivating the unmotivated learners. Now this topic sounds very interesting because we are generally aware of the term demotivation, motivation and demotivation, but unmotivation is something really interesting, intriguing, and for me it was really inquisitive. I really wanted to know what unmotivation means, and then I started my research, started studying about it, and then I came up with something very interesting that I thought it is important for us to share with you all. So I'm sharing my screen. As I told you all earlier, that I'm going to make my sessions very focused and crisp. So I'm not going to talk more than 10 to 15 minutes. I'll appreciate your questions in between because this is something that we all need to understand. It is related to all of us. जितने ज़्यादा सवाल आपके आते हैं उतना ज़्यादा डिस्कशन में और शेयरिंग में मज़ा आता है. So let's just start sharing the motivating the unmotivated teachers. I did not write teachers purposely, but my focus is all on teachers today. और teachers भी कहाँ के? Public sector teachers, private sector teachers, faith-based schools, community-based schools, or teachers in general. So we will try to find it out on our own selves that whether it is suiting me, it is suiting you, or it is suiting to any specific domain. Now, as I just said, that the word unmotivation is something very intriguing because generally we use the word demotivation. So, what is the difference between demotivation and unmotivation? Demotivation means that I was motivated, now I have lost my motivation, so I'm demotivated to do that. Unmotivated, on the other hand, means that I have no motivation of any kind. This is something really interesting. Now, if we look around specifically in our education fraternity and specifically the teachers that are around us, all the teachers that are around us, we will find a number of teachers who are motivated, some who are demotivated, and many who are unmotivated. And there's one specific domain, one specific sector in education where we find most of the teachers being unmotivated. I'm not making a claim, it is research proven, and that is why I'm not highlighting the name of that sector also. But this is a bitter reality that the teachers are unmotivated. They have no encouragement, they have no motivation from within or from the external factors to perform better or to teach better, right? So the session is basically focused about those teachers who are unmotivated, and also how do we motivate the unmotivated ones. So why are teachers unmotivated? ये एक सवाल है जो हम अपने आप से करते हैं. डीमोटिवेशन तो चले मुझे समझ आती है कि मैं कहीं काम कर रही हूँ और उसका इदारे का इन्वायरमेंट मुझे अच्छा नहीं लग रहा, मैं डीमोटिवेट हो जाती हूँ. ठीक है, जिन स्टूडेंट्स के साथ मैं पढ़ा रही हूँ वो मुझे रिस्पॉन्ड नहीं करते, मैं डीमोटिवेट हो जाती हूँ. मुझे अच्छी सैलरी नहीं मिलती, मैं डीमोटिवेट हो जाती हूँ. मैं जो करना चाहती हूँ और वो मैं कर नहीं पाती, मैं डीमोटिवेट हो जाती हूँ. तो चलिए ये बातें तो समझ में आने वाली हैं कि हम ये सब चीज़ें करते हैं तो डीमोटिवेट होते हैं. लेकिन ऐसे कौन से फैक्टर्स हैं या ऐसे कौन से कॉजेज हैं जिनसे हम अनमोटिवेट हो जाते हैं, हमारी मोटिवेशन बिल्कुल जीरो पे चली जाती है, एंड वी आर एब्सोल्युटली not in favor of continuing with our job, with our profession, and obviously with our teaching. लेट्स एक्सप्लोर दैट फर्स्ट. तो मेरा पहला जो एरिया है वो उन फैक्टर्स के ऊपर है जिनसे हम अनमोटिवेट होते हैं एज टीचर्स, और सेकंड में हाउ टू हेल्प टीचर्स बिकम मोटिवेटेड अगेन. बहुत सारे रीजंस हैं, बहुत सारे कॉजेज हैं अनमोटिवेशन के. सबसे ज़्यादा जो एरियाज हैं जो हमें सबसे ज़्यादा अनमोटिवेट करते हैं वो है हमारा अपना प्रोफेशन, हमारी अपनी विलिंगनेस फॉर दैट प्रोफेशन, फिर द करिकुलम दैट वी टीच, the working conditions, our colleagues and parents, the school administration, and the socio-emotional as well as the physical condition in which we work. ये वो 6 important areas हैं जो research proven है. आप जब भी मोटिवेशन के ऊपर अनमोटिवेशन या डिमोटिवेशन के फैक्टर्स को आइडेंटिफाई करेंगे, be it in Pakistan, be it abroad, you will find that these are the 6 major chunks, bigger chunks in which the major causes of unmotivation falls. हमारा इन्वायरमेंट जहाँ हम काम कर रहे होते हैं, हमारा प्रोफेशन जिसे हम सिलेक्ट करते हैं, इज इट अ करियर by choice or is it a career which is forced to us, or I was left with no option so I picked it up. All of these things actually makes a lot of difference in my personal self and my personal motivation. तो अगर मैंने एक करियर को अपनी मर्जी से सिलेक्ट किया है तो मेरा मोटिवेशन लेवल क्या है, और अगर मैंने नहीं किया है तो क्या है. जब मैंने एक करियर को लिया और उसमें जब मैंने काम करना शुरू किया एज अ टीचर इन टीचिंग प्रोफेशन, एज अ प्रोफेशन इफ आई सिलेक्टेड, क्या जो करिकुलम मुझे पढ़ाना है उससे मेरी रिलेटेबिलिटी है या नहीं है, आया वो करिकुलम मुझे समझ भी आ रहा है या नहीं, उसमें मेरा कोई कंट्रीब्यूशन भी है या नहीं. ठीक है, मेरा स्कूल, मेरा कॉलेज, मेरी एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशन, मेरी यूनिवर्सिटी मुझे कितना सपोर्ट करते हैं उस करिकुलम को एग्जीक्यूट करने में. Is it really been provided to me? Is that support provided? How about the colleagues with whom I work? What are the kind of students with whom I work? Am I allowed to practice what I want to? क्या मुझे अपनी सोच को इम्प्लीमेंट करने की इजाज़त है? क्या मुझे अपनी क्रिएटिविटी, अपनी क्यूरियोसिटी को पूरा करने की इजाज़त है? क्या मेरी एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, मेरी लीडरशिप, मेरा एनवायरनमेंट मुझे अलाउ करता है कि मैं उसमें एक्सपेरिमेंटेशन करूं? Are these provisions given to me? If yes, I will be motivated. If not, then automatically first I'll get demotivated and then I'll get unmotivated, which is quite natural, right? So basically, the above all the things, when I look at it, सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम क्या है जो हमें एज टीचर्स या इन टीचिंग प्रोफेशन करना पड़ता है जिसकी वजह से हम अनमोटिवेट होते हैं, दैट इज द पावर. It is all about the power and the power game. Who has the power? Who actually influences our decision? Who makes human relations in the institution? Who sets goals for us? Who are the ones who actually puts us into a process of execution? वो कौन लोग हैं, किन के हाथ में पावर है? क्या एक टीचर के हाथ में पावर है? नहीं. क्या मैं एक इंस्टीट्यूशन में, एक इदारे में पढ़ाती हूँ, क्या मेरे हाथ में पावर है? नहीं. पावर किसके हाथ में है और उस पावर का यूजेज किस तरीके से है? नाउ दैट इज बेसिकली द की to today's session. It is the power and the power game. It is not easy to let go the power. So my question to you all here is, who has the power? The power generally in our education institutions lies in the hands of the leadership, the executive management, the syndicates, the people who are on the top layer position who are running an education institution, right? These are the ones who actually are the ones who are in power, and they are the ones who influences our behaviors. मैं अगर खुश होकर काम करूँ तो ऑब्वियसली मेरी एग्जीक्यूटिव लीडरशिप ने मेरे लिए ऐसा एनवायरनमेंट क्रिएट किया है where I can experiment, I can challenge, I can show my curiosity, I can show my creativity, I can do whatever feel like, I can teach the way I can. But if my executive leadership doesn't allow me to do that, obviously I'll feel frustrated. I'll try in the first half, in the beginning, I'll try and I'll continue to make attempts until I'll succeed. But there is a capacity for every individual to make attempts. So there comes a time when we literally stop making attempts and just either be sublime, हम बिल्कुल अपने आप को सबमिसिवली प्रेजेंट कर खत्म कर देते हैं, वी बाउ डाउन, वो सरेंडर, और वी बिकम अनमोटिवेटेड, राइट? सो जनरली जब हम अनमोटिवेटेड होते हैं तो बहुत सारे बिहेवियर्स हैं जो हमारे अंदर आ जाते हैं. This is a list that I actually got from literature and I thought of sharing with you all. इसमें हमारा ना काम करना, काम पर ना जाना, स्टूडेंट्स को वक्त ना देना, अपने काम को अननेसेसरीली डिले करना, अननेसेसरीली कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स में पड़ना इंस्टीट्यूशन में, बिला वजह के लिए प्रॉब्लम्स को क्रिएट करना, कोई प्रॉब्लम हो जाए तो उसको लिंकर करना, ये बहुत सारी नेगेटिव एट्रीब्यूट्स हैं, नेगेटिव बिहेवियर्स हैं विच कम्स विद इन अस, विच आर अगेन रिसर्च प्रूवन. ये हमारी ह्यूमन साइकी का पार्ट है कि हम बहुत सारी गलत चीज़ों में पड़ जाते हैं व्हेन वी गेट फ्रस्ट्रेटेड, right? और उसकी वजह से our performance is affected, our efficiency is affected, and automatically, yes, because we are demotivated, we move towards the tangent of becoming more unmotivated. So ये कुछ areas हैं जहाँ से हम इस environment की वजह से disturb होते हैं. When we move from here, इस तरीके से अब अनमोटिवेटेड भी हो रहे हैं, हमारा इन्वायरमेंट भी हमें सपोर्ट नहीं कर रहा है, पावर गेम भी चल रहा है, तो अब किया क्या जाए? तो यहाँ पे माय फोकस ऑफ टुडेज सेशन इज बेसिकली नॉट द टीचर्स. I took teachers because they are the hitting point. But teachers get frustrated because of the power that resides in the hands of the executive leadership. So I am today focusing on certain strategies which I'm recommending to the executives, the leadership of any educational institution to execute so that they can motivate their unmotivated teachers. So today's session is for them. So this is for the management, executives, and the leadership of the executive institutions. I'm sharing certain strategies. How can we actually encourage our teachers, motivate our teachers, and bring them to perform the way we want is actually through certain models. Now, what are those models? These are all research proven models, everybody. ये बहुत आसानी से अवेलेबल है, बहुत सारी अच्छी अच्छी किताबें हैं रिसर्च psychology and research की, from where I have taken them out. So I'm just sharing a few strategies for the leadership that they can very easily use in their educational institutions to motivate their unmotivated teachers. So the very first model that I'm proposing is teach how to do things. It is very, very common in our educational institutions that we just simply ask the teachers, go and teach. Fair enough. We want this kind of teaching, we want that kind of teaching, we want this and we want that. Absolutely fine. But have you really modeled the kind of teaching you want the teachers to teach? You have not. You have just told them. Now, when teachers struggle on their own, some of the teachers are actually very good in mental models. Mental models क्या होते हैं? हमारे mental schemas, जिसकी basis पे हम बहुत सारे कामों को बहुत अच्छी तरह perform करते हैं. But not every individual is the same. Not every teacher is the same. There are different paces every teacher has, and there are different sets of mental models which every teacher has. So, if the school or if the leadership of the education institution or the executives are actually setting up that a kind of a teaching pattern they need to teach. And to begin with, the very first thing they need to do is direct, do, and debrief. They need to spend time with teachers in how to teach that lesson. That how to was the key. So this is the first model strategy that I'm proposing. That if you really want your teachers to move from the tangent of unmotivated to motivated, you need to hold their hands. Sit with them, help them, assist them. If you want professionals, please bring those professionals in. And please, the kind of teaching that you want to happen in your educational institutions, you need to model them through direction, doing, debriefing, and through teaching and conducting how-to sessions. The second, which I want, this is actually the I really like these pictures, so I thought of sharing that if you really want to see a change in behavior, the change has to come first from you. So the executive leadership, the core leadership who is running the educational institution actually has to change their thinking, and then only they can work on making their unmotivated teachers motivated, right? The second strategy that I am sharing with you all is making expectations clear and simple. देखिए, हमेशा ये बात कही जाती है कि जितना सिंपल होता है वो उतना इफेक्टिव होता है, क्योंकि जितनी कम लफ्जों में जितनी आसानी से बात कही जाती है वो बात उतनी ज़्यादा मायने रखती है. In generally in educational institutions, we just set up our expectations and we throw it on our teachers and we say, okay, go and perform. Again, the very same reason. Mental models of every teacher is different. Every individual is a unique individual. So unless you're not making your expectations simple and clear, and you're not discussing those expectations, communicating those expectations with your teachers will not perform. And that is something, again, is a responsibility of the executive leadership. The third strategy that I'm proposing here is see one, do one, teach one. This is something which is very, very interesting. We need to, as the leadership of the educational institution, it is very, very important to take each and every individual into their consideration. Every teacher is equally important, every teacher is equally worthy, and every teacher is equally talented. As executive leadership of any educational institution, it is their responsibility to pick out the best from every individual. They need to identify attributes which every single teacher is good at and polish on them. Give them the responsibilities, give them the tasks, give them the targets which they are good at, and let them perform. See one, do one, teach one. When you'll see teachers performing with the best of the capabilities that they have, you will definitely see a change not only in their behavior, but in the overall performance of the educational institution. Slowly and gradually from there, start making smaller groups of teachers who are good at one thing. Give them the responsibility of that particular task, and then you will see that teachers will actually be very, very motivated. They will enjoy because you are tapping upon their potential. You are picking up their area which they excel at, and you're not putting them into a state where they have to struggle. The next strategy that I'm sharing with you is divide and limit information. Now, this is something very important. This basically actually applies to our schools as our classrooms as well as teachers also. कि हम क्या करते हैं बाज़ दफ़ा इतना ज़्यादा इंफॉर्मेशन हम शेयर कर लेते हैं अपने अपने कॉलीग्स के साथ, अपने टीचर्स के साथ, एंड इन फैक्ट ऑल्सो विद आवर स्टूडेंट्स, दैट इट बिकम्स डिफिकल्ट फॉर अस टू assimilate. It becomes very difficult for us to absorb what actually is being said and what is being told and what is being actually expected of us. So whenever we are sitting and working with teachers, please ensure that whatsoever information is to be provided and to be given to them, it has to be given in smaller bits and pieces. चंक्स में दी हुई इंफॉर्मेशन प्लानिंग के साथ अच्छी तरह एग्जीक्यूट करके फिर उसको आप लार्जर चंक्स में लेके जाइए. द रिजल्ट्स विल बी फार बेटर. एक साथ डंप कर देने से हमेशा कंफ्यूजन्स बढ़ते हैं. Next strategy that I'm sharing with you all here is check on teachers soon and often. Now, this is something very important. When I say check on teachers, I'm not saying of a proper monitoring, supervision, or evaluation mechanism. Here, I'm saying that at intervals, informal checking with them. Are they okay? Are they performing better? Are they having any troubles? Personally, are they fine? Professionally, are they okay? Are they going through any kind of a trauma? Something like this. This kind of a relationship is very, very important to build. ये strategy एक बहुत important strategy है for teachers to be motivated because they know that the executive leadership is concerned about them. उनके परफॉर्मेंस को आप इंटरवल्स पे चेक कीजिए, उनके साथ इनफॉर्मल डिस्कशंस कीजिए, फॉर्मल डिस्कशंस कीजिए, देखिए how they are performing, and if they're having any troubles, please intervene there and support them because that is what they expect from the management. A lot of support. They don't expect power execution. They support more of a collaborative experience with the executive leaders. Next strategy that I'm sharing here is create structure, be redundant. Now, this is something really very interesting. Now, here, the management actually expects the teacher will perform every single thing the way they have thought of in their minds. But there is no execution plan. There is absolutely nothing on paper. There is no discussion and things are being thrown out. This is something very common. I'm not saying that every institution's leadership does the same. Some institutions are very, very systematic and organized. And where things work in a systematic pattern, performance is actually better, proficiency is better, and teachers are satisfied. But in some of the cases where things are not planned in a more organized and structured manner, this is what happens. Your teachers get into anxiety. देखिए बहुत बड़ा रीजन डीमोटिवेटेड या अनमोटिवेटेड होने का ये होता है कि आप फ्रस्ट्रेटेड और एंग्शियस होते हैं. एंग्जाइटी में हमसे गलतियां शुरू हो जाती हैं और जब हम गलतियां करना शुरू कर देते हैं और हमारी मैनेजमेंट उस पर हमें डांट फटकार शुरू कर देती है तो ऑब्वियसली हमारा सारा का सारा सेल्फ एस्टीम जीरो पे चला जाता है. Unless your things are not clearly stated in right and wrong, black and white, in an organized manner, your teachers will not perform. So this is something which is very important, that you need to create structures for your teachers to perform. Help teachers get set goals. Now, this is very, very important. Another strategy that I'm actually recommending for our executive leadership, help teachers set goals. देखिए ये बहुत ज़रूरी है. हम सब एक कम्युनिटी में, स्कूल इज अ कम्युनिटी, एन एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशन इज अ मिनी सोसाइटी, इट्स अ मिनिएचर ऑफ अ सोसाइटी. We do have goals. How do we set goals? Do we set goals which are so unrealistic, or do we set goals which are realistic? And if we are setting goals which are realistic, can we achieve them all alone? Single-handedly, we cannot achieve goals. It's practically very difficult. I'm not saying impossible, but I'm saying it is very difficult. We need scaffolding all the time. We need support all the time. Now, from where will the support come for the teachers who are setting goals? The support will come from the executive leadership. एग्जीक्यूटिव लीडरशिप सपोर्ट करे इस तरीके से कि जब हम एनुअल गोल्स बनाए, इंटरम गोल्स बनाए, 5 ईयर गोल्स बनाए, टीचर्स जो जो गोल्स अपने लिए सेट कर रहे हैं, पर्सनल लेवल पे, प्रोफेशनल लेवल पे, एकेडमिक लेवल पे, प्लीज सपोर्ट, ask them help them in designing, developing attainable goals. विथ योर सपोर्ट। ये बहुत ज़रूरी है। जब तक कि वो गोल्स इस तरह ना क्रिएट किए जाएं कि वो अटेनेबल हैं, the goals are of no use. They're absolutely of no purpose. So that is something which is very, very important. Be consistent. Now, this is a strategy that I'm sharing. Uh, Here, when we say okay, be consistent, basically we mean in terms of our ideas, in terms of our projection, in terms of our support, in terms of the organization, planning, in terms of everything, we need consistency. Consistency is the key. कि एक consistent approach के साथ कि dips are good. I never say कि dips are not good because it always reminds me of my teacher कि ये जो ups and downs lives lines हैं, these are signs of life. But ये बहुत important है समझना कि consistency बहुत जरूरी है। किस तरीके से एक लीडरशिप एक कंसिस्टेंट अप्रोच के साथ अपने सपोर्ट मैकेनिज्म के साथ एक ऑर्गेनाइज स्ट्रक्चर के साथ अपने टीचर्स को सपोर्ट करती है, दैट मेक्स अ लॉट ऑफ डिफरेंस एंड दिस इज अनदर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एरिया थ्रू विच वी कैन मोटिवेट द अनमोटिवेटेड टीचर्स। इसके बाद ये तो वो कुछ स्ट्रैटेजीज हैं जो आप अप्लाई कर सकते हैं और आप इसके फ्रूटफुल रिजल्ट्स देख सकते हैं। इसके बाद एक चीज जो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है टू मोटिवेट द अनमोटिवेटेड टीचर्स अगेन बाय द एग्जीक्यूटिव लीडरशिप इज बिल्डिंग रिलेशनशिप्स। एक्सट्रीमली इंपॉर्टेंट। देखिए मैकेनिकल रैशनल अप्रोच काम करता है, बहुत ज़्यादा काम करता है, मैं ये नहीं कह रही कि दे डोंट वर्क, बट इट इज़ एक्सट्रीमली इंपॉर्टेंट दैट यू एक्चुअली develop your cordial relationship with your teachers. This is very important. I need to, as a teacher, feel good at a place where I work because I know that the people with whom I'm working, they support me, they respect me, they appreciate my work. I can actually share my professional problems, and in case if there's any personal problem, there's space given to me. So that building of a relationship is very important for me to move from the tangent of being unmotivated to motivated. Now, how can we build relationships? There's a very interesting term that is used in literature that I thought of sharing: connectiveness. When you will write connectiveness, it will actually give you a right line because there is no such word. Connectedness is the word, but connectiveness is no. Connectiveness is a philosophy that is emerging now, which actually talks about that everybody has to feel connected to each other. So the philosophy of connectivism, being a part of something, I have to have this feeling that I am a part of the organization, the educational institutions I'm working, is very important. I need to understand that if I go and share my problems in the community with whom I'm working and I'm teaching will support me. This philosophy of connectiveness is actually the key to develop harmonious relationship, cordial relationship, and also to move teachers from the trajectory of unmotivated to motivated teachers. Now, a question comes, how do we develop this connectiveness? There are certain strategies, again, that I'm sharing with you all through which you can develop your connectiveness. Now, it is not necessary that the executive leadership develops it with teachers. It can be among teachers. It can be between departments. It can be between students, teachers, parents. It could be between anybody. All stakeholders who are a part of the school or educational community needs to be connected through this philosophy. So within connectiveness, it is a sense of belonging, affectionate, and closeness. So how to get connected? We need to be involved in a long-term relationship. We need to be involved together in cooperative learning. We need to work together in a harmonious way where everybody is respected, appreciated, and is given a place to share their concerns. This is something very important, which is the first strategy of connectiveness, getting involved in a long-term relationship. Then teacher to teacher interaction is very important. Within an educational institution, it is very important that teachers actually are given an opportunity to sit with other teachers and share, learn, grow, blossom. This could be within departments, this could be within sections, this could be within senior teachers and junior teachers, it could be within anybody. But that structure where the school provides an opportunity when one teacher sits with the other is another very important strategy that helps develop this connectiveness. Then, whenever we are talking in a school, we need to move ourselves from I to we. Now, this is something very important. I'm not going to say that my school does that, our school. It's the feeling of connectiveness as one whole community. It's we who stand together. So that movement from I to we is very important, and that will only come if the school, if the educational institution has given every single teacher his opportunity to own the school. So ownership of that is very important, and the use of we is something is very important for us to have that feeling. Then our classroom feelings. Moving from the schools, we are coming down to our classrooms. I'm a maths teacher, for example. It's not my class, it's our class, because all the teachers who are teaching this particular class is their class. So, again, the sense of belongingness, the sense of ownership, and the sense of collectiveness is very important to develop this motivation that we were lacking before. क्रिएट एन आवर स्कूल फीलिंग. देखिए, ये हम कितनी बड़ी बातों से छोटी बातों पे लेके आ रहे हैं कि पहले हम कह रहे हैं कि मूविंग फ्रॉम मी और आई टू वी, then moving from my class to our class, and then moving from my school to our school or to our educational institution. Now, this is something which is actually step by step process that you can apply to learn. Last of all, but not the least, the strategy that I'm sharing with you all is reaching out. This is very, very important. Reaching out. Now, how do we reach out? We reach out to teachers through different mediums. Now, reaching out means that for every single thing, I'm actually trying to get somebody or the other in the loop who knows it, who can do it, and who's a support system. So, reaching out, in other words, for me, is developing a support system in the school where every single individual who is a part is contributing in something or the other. Contributing their talents, contributing their time, contributing their potentials, contributing their learning, contributing their knowledge. And when this kind of environment is created, actually it helps teachers moving from unmotivated to demotivated learners. So this is all actually, everybody, that I wanted to share with you all. Um, I hope the session was interesting. I hope I tried to pick out ideas which were meaningful. I tried to pick out ideas which make sense. I tried to pick out ideas which are easy to execute. Right. So thank you very much, everybody. I have taken, I think, about 27 minutes. Hello, Atia. Hello, Seema. Thank you for coming. If you have any questions, as I always say, everybody, if you have any questions, please feel free to write in the chat box. If not, during the webinar, during the session, you can write it later and I'll be responding to you. If you want me to discuss any important topic like many other colleagues and followers, I joined at the end. No worries, Atia, but I hope the session would be fruitful because this will be available on my page and you can just go and visit. If you would like me to discuss something important, please feel free to share. If you would like me to invite people, please feel free to share. If you have questions, please feel free to write and then we will answer. So thank you very much, everybody. With this, I come to an end. I'll be waiting for your questions later. Thank you. Take care of yourselves. Keep yourselves healthy and happy. Allah Hafiz.